Alright everyone, welcome back as I have successfully mounted this toy grade tire, which is extremely soft, which is for a monster truck, the Grave Digger. I've successfully mounted it to the WPL chassis, and it's lightweight. It's the large size that I would like to give it a miniature monster truck look. So now I've done one, I can definitely do the other three. So if you buy that particular truck, you're going to take it apart and you're going to end up with some gears that look like this that got a hex in them. It might be hard to tell that, get it up against a black surface, but there is a hex in there. What I did is before I finished cutting this one off, is I cut it as close as I could to that ridge right there, right? Figured I'd save that one for camera purposes. So this is going to be your garbage piece unless you got plans for it. So there are three cut down. This one I did not finish all the way just so I could make this little video. Then I'll sand off that little remaining bit right there so it's flush. Alright, so this little lip right here is gone. And I take a 5.2 millimeter drill bit. Focus. There you go. Well, you were just focused a second ago. You don't want to focus on the drill, but anyway, 5.2 millimeter, right? I marked it with a piece of tape, approximately the width of the axle. In other words, when I took this tire off, there's a little plastic stub that sticks out. Right? Maybe it's 8 millimeters that sticks out. I took that measurement and I drilled in 8 millimeters from the backside forward, then slid this all the way on, then screwed in my tire. Now I am doing it free-handed, so it's not going to be totally square, but perfectly acceptable. I'm not looking for total performance. I just want monster truck type look. It's a little bit wobbly, but maybe once I get them all set. Plus, I don't think these things are all that square to begin with. And before I started cutting on them, they look kind of like they're off center a little bit. So it might require some tweaking. Maybe put a shim in there somewhere to bring the wheel in perfect alignment. I don't know. But it's not looking bad. So there is a quick update so far. We're going to throw this up there. And I think we're going to do good. Probably not that low. Probably something like that. And then we can even cut up some of the chassis pieces from this toy grade RC and stick it in there for a little realism. Right, so I think this WPL at least is going to look the part. Whether or not it performs the part is a whole nother story, but we do have a 7,200 kV motor in there. If you want to do something similar, if you took your buggy, whatever buggy it might have been, or maybe even a four-wheel drive car, and the transmission, right, this might be your front, going to the front differential, and this might be going to the rear differential, whatever the case may be. This is if you were to stick a tire here and a tire here, this would be a two-wheel drive buggy, right? So that's all this is. There are ways around it. I used a 5 millimeter drill bit to drill out these metal links right here because the output shafts, or the stub shafts on the axles on this WPL are only 3 millimeter, which on the opposite end is 3 millimeter. I still have to make a custom bracket for that. But I wanted to test fit this, at least one of them. I am happy with it. It's a little bit expensive in my opinion to do this, but if you're going after a look for that's what I'm doing, then it's just money being tossed in the wind, I guess, for lack of a better description. You're either happy with what you're doing or you're not. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Right? It's really that simple. Always do the very simple upgrade with the aluminum rims. I'll hang on to those, and I went ahead and ordered some metal axles because there's just way too much slop going on here in the front end. Way too much. It's just unbelievable. And plus I want it to be able to handle a little bit of abuse. If it'll jump, fine. If not, no big deal. I don't expect any backflips, but I do want to perform a wheelie. I do want to be able to snap the throttle, and then the front end will come up and at least do a wheelie. That is my ultimate goal. Everything else is not important to me in this particular build. So, hope that inspires some of you guys. This is a pretty good, awesome little idea. Even if you're not using a grave digger, you need to adapt some different wheels. Maybe you just want to use these wheels, paint them up differently. I don't know. But yeah, you just hack that with my rotary tool, sand it down, push it on there. It's a nice tight fit. In fact, there's enough room on here if you're really concerned about tire slippage. As of right now, I'm not. There's still enough of that white spot right there where I can run a pin or a screw all the way through it. You know, it's not terrible. It's a little out of round or not quite true, but it's not bad. And that is being held in place with one little screw in there. So if we can do one, we can do the other three. If you have a drill press, I got a drill press. I was just too lazy to use it. I don't know. I didn't want to take the time to try and make a little tiny jig to hold those nice and neat and pretty and stop them from spinning. It was just easier to hold it with my fingers and just do the best that I could.